Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 32 tonight. I'm your host, Kellen. And with me, as always, Tim, Ron, and Eric, which I'm going to allow introduce themselves for those on the audio feed so you guys know who's with me. Go for it, Tim.
Hey guys, Tim here from Droid Life, as always.
Hi, this is Ron.
Hey, it's Eric.
Hey, guys. Welcome back, by the way. It's been a month since we've all. I think I was looking. It's been a month since the four of us have gotten together and actually done a show, which is kind of crazy. It's been a while.
Since Captain Planet did it.
Yeah, I mean, Tim and I kind of ran with a solo Friday show one day, but otherwise we've had like travel for Droid stuff and Google stuff and Moto X stuff and G2 stuff and soon Galaxy Note 3 stuff. But we slipped in a show. I think we'll probably have a show next week as well. But anyways, thanks again for joining us. Episode 32. Our count slowed down a little bit over this last few months, but we're getting up there. Maybe we'll do something special for like 50. Who knows? Anyways, let's talk about the Moto X, okay? Because we all haven't been together enough now that I've got one in hand, Moto X, to really talk about some of this stuff. So we've reviewed it, or I've reviewed it now. We've got all kinds of like other stories still kind of floating around about the Moto X, like whether there's a Google Play version coming and if it's going to differ in any way. Motorola and a Nexus maybe, I don't know. So I've got the Moto X here. I've reviewed it, and I've also sort of wrote a post about how I'm probably going to make this my phone until the next Nexus comes out, because I actually really do like this phone. Other than the camera being I don't know how to put this nicely. The camera has sort of turned into a disappointment. In my review, I was generous to it and said it's like a decent camera. I will say now that it's still just decent. It's not good. It's not terrible. I'm sort of missing the camera on my Galaxy S4 Google Play Edition just a little bit. Not gonna lie. But other than that, I love the sort of notification, active display stuff. You know, I've actually used the touchless control, I think it's called. I've actually used that a little bit more. It's actually learned my voice enough now that it works a little bit. But I think what I really like is like the form factor. I didn't realize how much I missed holding a phone that actually like fits in your hand and you can use with one hand. Every other phone I've had before this is like almost a two-hander. The Galaxy S4 it's close to being a one-handed device, but this one really is. I don't know. I like the look of it, and we'll be designing our own soon. I don't know how much I can say about that, actually. I think I'm under an embargo or something, but we'll be designing one soon.
Anyways.
I have the Verizon one now, and it's been a nice little phone. I really, really enjoy it. So, what about you guys, though? After you've seen reviews come out, you've seen me talk about it constantly, what do you guys think about the Moto X? Like, is it something that's now on your radar, like you might want one, or are you looking at all these other options?
I think we already know what Ron feels about the Moto X, that everyone should just buy one.
Everyone should buy one.
Yeah. I still have yet to play with the X. Like, I don't live that far from Kellen. I feel like I should just kind of like ambush him outside of his house and say, "Let me play with it." But
yeah, I'm not thought about doing the same thing.
I'm not really drawn to do that with the X for some reason. Like, it doesn't really like it impresses me. But if it was like a different phone, say like the S4 or something like a top tier flagship device, I would have been over there already. The X is impressive, but I don't feel like it offers anything that I have to like go see right away and like hold and all that stuff. Like, I'm patient. I'll just wait. But I don't know. I don't really have much else to say. If you say the camera sucks, then I'm already like turned off, because I use the camera on my phone more than I use like the phone feature itself or even texting. Like, I use the camera so much.
This is where you plug yourself on Instagram.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like Instagram, Vine, follow me on Twitter at Timotato. But so yeah, if the camera sucks, and that's a real downer, because I was hoping Motorola was gonna pull their stuff together and take care of that. So.
Yeah, the camera, like, you can take some really nice shots. Like Motorola and like Guy Kawasaki, all these people keep posting them because it can capture like moving objects without blur and stuff, and it can do that, but like I swear you have to take like 6 to get one to come out good, and you just shouldn't have to do that. Like I take a lot of pictures in my house of like my cats and stuff like that. I'm one of those weird people, and they almost always have too much noise. It over processes the hell out of them, and none of them are that great unless you're like in really good light. And so like my Instagram has been lacking because I take a picture and I'm like, that doesn't even look good enough for Instagram or a filter. So.
Yeah.
I say to myself, where are Kellen's cats every day? I'm like,
I know.
Where have they gone?
Yeah, I know you're wondering. So the camera, it's starting to bug me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really like everything else about the phone, except the camera's starting to bug me. So.
Well, at least you can get to the camera app quickly by flicking your wrist and stuff. That's
throwing it across.
You can. and I've gotten better at that. But yeah.
Oh, good to know.
I actually do use that quite a bit too. Because if I'm just like if I pull it out of my pocket, I'm like, oh. I could either tap a button or I'll just do this little shake thing. It actually is kind of handy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Like with the when they had it on the Moto Active, the little wrist flick.
Yeah.
Told you. I think when you hear it told to you, it sounds really dumb, but it's very intuitive motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. So Ron, you wrote a little piece about how you like the Moto X, or you think people should get it. And I'm not like I'm not trolling you right now, but you actually did say that
I'm
you
ready
like
for
the
it.
Moto
Hit
X. Yeah. No, just go. Like let's hear the Moto X talk.
Yeah. No, I mean I think we've seen a lot of Android phones come out, especially over the last 2 years in particular, with where kind of the features have kind of slowed down, and a lot of the things have been more gimmicky, like looking away from your phone to pause it. Like that, I get how some people would like that, but that's not like a feature that you're going to use constantly, I don't think. Unless like you're constantly watching media and your phone is your only computer, then I guess that would be kind of cool. But like we were talking about, like shaking your phone to jump to the camera, which I talked about when it was first rumored, and how like I think that's a really, really good idea, because I'm constantly taking pictures now, just with my nephew, and it's going to get worse when I have my own kids. So like things like that, the notifications. I don't like notification lights. I get that you can customize them with whatever that app is called.
Light flow.
Yeah. Which I've got on my Purple Razor, and it works well. But I prefer seeing the notifications and getting a little bit more detail, which Moto X does a lot better. So it's just a lot of those little features, and it's very, very close to stock, except for the few carrier things that are on there, which is a bummer. But because of that, we know it's going to hopefully get faster updates and that kind of thing. So I think the hardware looks great. The big thing is being able to customize it, which right now is going to be exclusive to AT&T, but eventually be opened up to everybody. And like the idea that you can get a phone that performs well by all accounts, that has software features that are actually enhancing the phone, in my opinion, and that you can customize and tailor to your own specific tastes. I think that's really cool. I love the idea of seeing a bunch of people with Moto X's and they're all the same hardware and they're all having the same software experience, but they're different hardware. Like that's seeing a manufacturer finally do that and saying, hey, we can differentiate on hardware and we don't have to differentiate as much on software to the point where you're not going to get an update for a year. I think that's really cool to finally see.
Yeah, I hope that like even if this isn't the phone for everyone, with the customizing and stuff, hopefully that means that Motorola is going to do this in the future with like all of their really big flagships. Like they're just going to let you customize them. So if you get one after this one that hopefully meets everyone's spec standards, like you'll still be able to customize it. I hope they continue. It'd be really cool. Eric, you're one of those guys that's got a Galaxy Nexus, right? So you're like kind of due for a new phone.
Oh my God, I'm so ready. Oh, this thing is crazy.
So is the Moto X like even on the short list?
Yeah, I would say that it is. And I want to go back to something that Tim said earlier, that he wasn't being drawn over to your house because there weren't any like fancy, big name specs. But I think that's what Motorola is trying to do. And from everybody that I've heard, first says, oh, well, it doesn't have anything big that sticks out on paper. But once they get it into their hands and they actually, use it, their tone kind of changes. And I've heard that consistently in almost every review that I've read, is that this phone performs differently once you pick it up and start using it. So it is definitely on the short list of something that I'm going to look at for upgrade. I think they're trying to do something different, and I know that made a lot of people angry. I think most of the hate was just that the price, that we were kind of speculating that they could do something different with this, since the specs weren't so good. But I feel like Motorola is, standing behind this. It's, saying we believe that this phone can compete with the S4 and the One, without the same, internals.
Right, which I think is going to be kind of cool to see, especially with 4.3, where we're going to kind of see where Android's getting to the point where performance is good with pretty much any specs. Like I've got my Droid Incredible sitting over there running 4.2, and it's janky, but it's not like horrible, and that's a crazy old phone like running. Now it's now not, there's not a 4.3 ROM on it yet, but like that's pretty crazy that we can get that far that we've gotten that far with Android. So if it's running okay on like a crazy old phone, then it's going to run great on lots of other phones, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, like the Moto X. So I've been using it for, I don't know, right around 2 weeks or something now. I haven't once gone, damn, I wish I had a quad core. Oh, I really wish this was 1080p. Like I haven't said either of those things. So it's not like I've gotten over that fact, because it's still, just because the way the industry's gone for the last 2 years, it's still kind of like, do I really want to pay $199 for this thing when the Galaxy S4, like, on paper, is a better phone? So that's still bugging me a little bit, but yeah, like in the 2 weeks I've had it, I've never once said, I want a better display, I need a new processor. It runs absolutely fine, it's fast, there's no lag in it. It plays games fine, and it's a smaller package than these other phones, so it's better to put in your pocket, to carry around, to hold, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's an interesting phone. I just think everyone should go just play with it for a little bit. I'm not saying everyone should go buy the damn thing, but yeah, everyone should go see if they think it's. I just wish we could all customize it right now. It sucks.
It'd be so good.
I think what you said, since the industry's been going that way where, do I want to pay this amount for something that doesn't have these specs? I think Motorola is trying to stem that, war, because even if you buy the Note 3 and it comes out with, the S4 800 and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be a new processor like 2 months down the road anyway, so at that point you're going to be behind, even then. Even when you spent the big money to get the big specs, the way it's going, you're going to be behind anyway. So I think Motorola is saying, like, this is stupid. Why don't we just make something that you'll actually want to use for 2 years instead of just buying it for, the specs that put it together.
Yeah, and that's always been like the problem with like the whole like spec war idea of like, okay, well you got to get like the best phone with the absolute best specifications, but the reality is like when you decide, hey, I'm going to buy, especially if you look back a year, but really even 2 years ago, like where like every month there's a new phone coming out from a manufacturer with like slightly better specifications, and it's like, well, when am I supposed to buy a phone? Because I know that in a couple weeks there's going to be a better one out, and that like, so when the standard is, okay, I need to get the phone with the best specs, and I'll have to customize the software and put a custom ROM in there so I make it so this software that I like when that's the game, like it sucks because it's really hard to be just a regular person who's on a 2-year contract saying, oh yeah, that's the phone I'm going to get, and I'll be stuck with it, and hopefully there's not some random software problem that they're never going to fix because they're working on the next 8 phones that they're coming out with this year.
Right.
And so like as that's slowed down and as Android has matured and as specs have become less important for that, I think we're getting to this point where like this inflection point where like a lot of Android phones, even if they're mid-range, are going to be really good for a lot of people, and they can start customizing and selling phones for things that are other than, if you look away from this phone, it pauses the video. Like we can do more than that.
Well, I think that's actually a really interesting point that you brought up, the mid-range phones being better for the regular consumer, because say like when I have a family member or a friend ask me what phone they should get, I'm like, I don't have to recommend the latest and greatest device, because I know that even if they get something a little lesser than say a Galaxy S4, they're still going to be getting a good experience. And to me, like that is so important for Android, because I mean there's so many people who get like a cheap Android phone and they just have a crappy time. Yep. And to me, that's exactly. Hey man, whatever phone you buy is not my problem. So like, so to me,
you told me to buy it, Tim, personally.
I know, yeah, you called
before
me
we met
years ago. Yeah, and so I think it's really important that as long as people, I mean, sure, if you can still buy a $1 Android phone on a prepaid plan, and it's gonna suck, but you don't have to get the latest and greatest to get a good experience. And unfortunately, the X isn't priced like that, but it's a step in the right direction, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, the whole made in or assembled in the U.S. thing is probably what ended up pushing that price really high. Well, we'll see if they sell one through Google Play. I guess we'll see what they price that at. It's not going to be apparently now a Google Play edition or something, but maybe they'll drop that one. But yeah, like the mid-range phone thing, it's gonna get better, which is kind of nice. Like there was a while. Well, look at the Android distribution numbers and all the phones like still running Gingerbread. That's because those were like terrible free mid-range phones that everyone bought and were stuck with and all that stuff. But yeah, the Moto X. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not. It comes out next? What's today? I don't know. It's supposed to come out maybe the 23rd. Right. On AT&T and Sprint, and then maybe the next week after that on Verizon.
Yeah.
So
next week Friday, and then 2 weeks.
Soon, so I can get rid of this thing, please. Oh my god.
Are you gonna get just like a regular one? You're not gonna wait for customization?
Yeah, I can't. I can't wait. This thing has run its course. I'm probably gonna try and put CyanogenMod 10.2 on it tonight to see if that will hold me over.
You're going to
running stock right now?
You're going to put the first nightly build of CyanogenMod on your phone.
That's how desperate I am.
If it fixes it.
That's how desperate I am.
What are you running right now?
Stock right now.
You need to put on.
Don't run stock. Come on.
You need to put on like a carbon ROM is what I would recommend for you right now. Carbon.
Something.
I like CP.
I don't put on the first nightly build of 10.2. My God, man, you're gonna have so many problems.
No, put
4.3 mod.
But they've got to have a 4.2 stable, don't they? Yeah, do that.
Of course they do, but Eric wants the latest and greatest crap. So he's.
Yeah, but there's got to be like another 4.3 build that's just stock that somebody did like 2 weeks ago. It's probably just fine.
No. It's a Verizon Nexus. It's not allowed to have it.
Yeah, totally.
Nothing's ever easy with this phone.
No.
Oh, please.
That poor Galaxy Nexus. All right, so moving on to Moto X, let's just talk quickly about the new Droids because they're coming out next week as well. So I can't believe it's been this long. We haven't even talked about these much. So I think it was like the week before, right? That Motorola announced the Moto X. Verizon announces these new Droid phones, which do every single thing that the Moto X does, and then they like potentially do a couple of other things. Like 2 of them have wireless charging. They have bigger displays, though they're still 720p. And they have, one of them, the Max, has like way better battery life because it's a Max and apparently can get 48-hour battery life. So they announced these things the week before, which is just the weirdest move. It shows you what kind of power I think Verizon has. Like they clearly went, yeah, we'll sell your Moto X, but we want you to make these 3 Droid phones for us first, and we're gonna announce them before you get to announce your new baby. I just found that completely odd, and I played with all of them, and I didn't really like any of them just because I didn't like the look of them, because I'm kind of picky like that. The phones are fine. They perform well, and I should have a review. I think of an Ultra maybe tomorrow, so we'll do some comparisons, stuff like that. So if you're thinking of getting a Droid and you don't want the Moto X, it does everything the Moto X does. But if you get the Max, like it'll have crazy battery life. Like you can't really go wrong there. It has the same camera though, so again, it won't be the best camera ever. At a 720p display of 5 inches, I guess you might have to worry a little bit about seeing some pixels, but probably not too much. I don't know. So those are coming. Like, do you guys, like, if you had a choice, would you buy a new Droid or would you go Moto X? Like, which one? Would you go like Max? Or would you go glossy Ultra, or even Mini?
So I had a 5-hour car ride today to sit there with my Galaxy Nexus and have a deep think about what I was going to do with my life coming in the coming months. And
first world problems.
Exactly. The Moto X is definitely on the list, but if I was going to go for a Droid, it would be the Max, and I was seriously considering, putting the Max and the Moto X in each hand, and weighing the pros and cons literally because I use my phone all the damn time, and battery life has always been an issue with every phone that I've bought. Has just been horrible battery life. So at this point, I'm willing to make some exceptions if I get some pretty good battery life. So I'm definitely. Like, the Max is probably the only one on my radar for me, but I could see, the Ultra being super slim and the Mini?
Mini, yeah.
You don't want the Mini.
No, the third name.
No.
I could see that being for certain people as well. So.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is, like, the Mini is it's $99 on contract, has a 4.3-inch 720p display, and it does everything that like the Moto X does, and it's slightly smaller, I guess.
They're all the same phone. I mean, they're.
Yeah, I mean, they really are.
They really are. So really, even when you say, "Oh, do I want to get the X or the Ultra?" I mean, then all you have to base your want on is the look itself, I think, and
the battery.
And the battery.
And thickness.
Yeah, but come on. It's the same phone.
This is
the same phone, yeah.
This is before the Moto X on Verizon has customization.
Right.
At this point, they're pretty much level. But I think once the Moto X gets that customization, then it's got a little bit of an edge there.
Oh, then the X all the way. If I had to take one right now, though, I would probably just take the Max or the X. I don't know. That's kind of hard to tell without having touched both. Like, I mean, the Max, of course, with that huge battery life, why not? But I don't know. That's a hard question. Come on.
Hard question, I know.
It is tough. And then you've got the One coming the week after that, and then the Galaxy Note 3.
Oh God, the One.
Geez. It's insane.
The One.
What a disaster that is.
It is not the one you're looking for.
It is not. Yeah, so anyways, Droids, we'll have an Ultra probably tomorrow. The Max, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. I think they come out Tuesday, actually. So our review for the Ultra will probably be ready by then. Max, obviously not. So we'll do some comparisons. We'll let you guys sort of decide there. Lots of Motorola choices, though. But speaking of choices, LG G2, Tim was at the event for that last week, and that's coming to every carrier. So AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon. Verizon's even got a sign-up page up already, which is kind of crazy. They've kind of gone off with the sign-up pages lately. There's like a Moto X, an HTC One, and a G2 sign-up page.
Yeah, they're not joking around.
No, they're not. So Tim, let's talk about the G2. You were there.
Let's talk about it.
You took it all in. It was the phone of your dreams, or maybe not. What do you think? Like, what did you come away with, or just thoughts in general on G2? Let's hear it all.
This is my type of question. The G2 is really cool, man. As crazy as it sounds, like the phone itself, user interface stuff kind of sucks. All the LG little tweaks and all that. A lot of software that's added in that's completely unnecessary, it would seem like. But the phone itself, light. Very awesome, 5.2-inch 1080p display, 13-megapixel camera with OIS technology, and I called that today. What did I call it? Like anti-shake mumbo jumbo. But from the time I spent with it, it was really sweet. I was really impressed. The back buttons. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, that's not how I use my phone at all. Because we're programmed as phone users to have our hand on the side of the device to easily kind of grip and use
Tim, it's the most
buttons.
innovative feature of the phone. At least that's what they said.
Oh, man. Well, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong.
No, they did studies.
Yeah, they did studies. And
did you not see their giant charts with dots and circles?
Yeah, you would think that we would hear about these studies. What are these, internal,
They just asked everybody, in the office.
Yeah, they just asked everyone
bring your phone to work day.
Yeah, very tiny hands.
So we actually did have a guy a month ago email us that was in one of their their test groups, and he told us everything there is to know about the phone.
Well, he's wrong.
And he did do some tests, but anyways, yeah.
Having the power button there is cool, but it's so weird having the volume rocker. So when I took those benchmarks, okay, don't even get me started on how I had to take those benchmarks. None of those phones are signed into Gmail account, so I had to add my personal account, download the benchmark. And then, all right, try imagining taking a snapshot or a screenshot with where the buttons are on the back, and then they're right next to each other. So volume down and power. It was a very awkward situation.
Aren't the volume buttons capacitive too? They're not actual buttons, right?
No, they're actual buttons.
They click?
Yeah, they click.
Okay.
So it's not the worst thing to do ever. It's, first world problems. But it's just weird you just have to hold it weird to take a picture, and it just looks stupid.
Yeah.
But either way, maybe they'll integrate some type of palm swipe.
God, please no. Please no. Please no one do that ever again.
So, and another thing. So, since the buttons are on the back, it was really weird getting used to the idea that you have to pick up your phone to, turn it on even. So they were you could just knock on it. they knock. And so I was like, okay, I'll knock. And then sometimes you knock, sometimes it doesn't turn on. Sometimes you knock, it does turn on. It wasn't a very consistent experience. And and like sometimes I'd have to give it a nice little knock, and I didn't care for that.
Okay, so what about when you just set the phone down? Is it like resting on the power button?
Yes.
Like what the hell? So okay, so I guess
so it is definitely like coming off. It's not flush, like it's
it's pretty flush, but you can tell it's definitely not. I mean, it's sitting on the power button. You're not going to be able to turn it on by pressing down on it while you're on the table, if that makes sense. It's flush enough to where it's not going to do that. Like it dips in. The power button dips in. It doesn't stick out.
Oh,
that's interesting.
But it's not flush. Dips in.
Okay, so do you think like if it was in your pocket and you like had something press up against it, could it possibly turn on the screen?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, yeah. So like, if you take the
that's what I was worried about in particular. Yeah.
If you put the display side in, rubbing against your leg, and
like
and
you do because you don't want anything cracking your screen.
You touch your side, you can definitely play with your volume buttons and power button and all that. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if that's good.
Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. I mean, because you never know a phone while you're at like the press event. You only know it after like a week with it in real life situations, blah blah blah, and yeah.
Okay, so what else about it? You said the screen was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So
world's thinnest, by the way.
You can tap on it. Yeah, you can tap on it, and you can knock on it. It all works, but it's inconsistent. Like, I mean, I tried tapping, you try knocking. It's just a very inconsistent experience. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's like some type of little thing you can do to help yourself with that, but I did not enjoy having to knock on my phone to turn it on. The end. What was your question, Kellen? Sorry. Someone was telling me that I could just tap on it in the comments. I was like, no, crap.
Oh, I was just saying, what else was awesome? Like the display was real, because it's almost fully edge to edge, right? Like there's no bezel on that thing.
The bezel is very thin. The display is very crisp. It looks very nice. The colors are very bright, and they're not overly saturated, but there's a good amount of saturation. It just looks good.
Oh, and you said the camera was awesome, right? When you left that event, you were like, the camera is awesome. And I was like, nah, it's probably not. But you said
the camera was
really
where it was at, because so when you're looking through the viewfinder, on the display, and you kind of shake it around and stuff, I mean, you can actually see what they're talking about, the anti-shake mumbo jumbo. That's my next tagline. And
image stabilization, yeah.
Yeah, who wants to say that? So the mumbo jumbo was actually like
Nokia.
Well, I was gonna say, have you used a 1025 or 925, or is it 1020?
1020.
No. Okay.
The hockey puck phone.
Oh no, I haven't touched that thing now.
Yeah, well, because they had the big campaign with that, with what was it, the 900?
Yeah, the 910.
Yes.
Well, whatever the one where they had like the commercial where they're like, yeah, this is OAS, whatever it's called.
Optical
but it was like
stabilization,
that guy. But then it was like showing like, if you looked in the reflection of the van, you could see like, the guy.
They got caught cheating. Yes.
Yeah. What phone was that? Was it the 9?
It was whatever they first put the OIS in. I think it was the 920.
Yeah. Maybe it was the
920. I think it was the 920. Anyways.
Yeah.
Fail. Someone asked.
So the camera. The camera was awesome.
What I took away is that the camera was awesome. I mean, it snaps pictures very well. The detail. I mean, we took a few shots in the room, and it was kind of low light, but the shots looked great. You could zoom all the way in, and it like looked very good. I mean, like say on a Motorola phone, you kind of zoom in, or say on the One, God forbid, you take a picture and you zoom in. I mean, it just looks bad. I mean, there's no image. It's just a big blur.
That's a problem. Yeah.
So.
Well, it'd be cool if we could do some comparison between that and the 1020 then, because the 1020 you're supposed to be able to do the same thing.
Well, yeah, that's what they show in the ads. Like, I'm in the front row at the concert.
Maybe I'll try to get us a 1020 if I can, so we can mess with that. But
yeah.
So what else then there? Okay. So talk about the UI, and everyone in the chat saying the same thing. Like, LG's UI is terrible. Is it terrible?
Yeah, it's really bad. It hasn't I mean, I would call it more refined, but it's not good. So I'm a very OCD notification bar type guy. Like, I don't want a lot of crap going on in there. And I want it clean and minimal. And no, that's not happening there. So you pull it down, and man, you have you can set what apps you want. You can set what quick controls you want. You can set I couldn't even figure out what button was the actual device settings button. Like, there was a setting for the brightness on there and a setting for all this other, like the ringtone volume and all this other crap. There's just too much going on. And I just think they overstepped their bounds there. It's like, this is my area, and they're like sticking their fingers in it. And
well, they want to be Samsung, right? They're trying to be Samsung.
Who doesn't want to be Samsung? Come on.
Well, Motorola doesn't.
I don't want to be Samsung.
Oh yeah, clearly they don't want to be Samsung. But yeah, so
I just don't want to stick my finger in your area.
Yeah, there was like a lot of TouchWiz-esque stuff going on, but yeah, and the quick memo, which is just so unnecessary. Like, I mean, I don't know. There's just so much weird stuff going on.
There was so much stuff going on. Like, I mentioned in a post that, like, there's like 3 different ways to multitask on the phone. Like, there's the standard Android way where you can, like, I think they make you long press on menu or something, and you can get the cards to show up. You can swipe away, and then they do this thing now where you can tuck things off to the side on LG's UI. Like, you can hide 3 like apps or something. You can swipe them out. It's this weird gesture thing. And then they also let you hover apps. There's like 3 ways to multitask on the phone. Like, it's just completely overwhelming. I don't know how anyone could use any of that stuff, but
there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And like, even in the settings menu, you know, it's not that regular kind of just single menu. You have like different menus, sub menus, and all that stuff, and that's
like Samsung did.
Yeah, like Samsung.
Okay, but could you swipe between each panel in the settings? I don't know if you tried that or not. Because Samsung you can't, and it drives me insane. But okay.
Yeah, I didn't try to swipe. I just I pressed like a normal like person in their mind would say, "Oh, there's the button for it. I should try to press
tap
it."
That.
Yeah. Tap that.
So what about build quality? Because I think the device looks cheaper than a Galaxy S4.
No, you know, actually, I'd have to. Well,
wait a second.
I would kind of put them. I would put the G2 above the S4, maybe.
Okay.
It feels solid. I mean, the device feels fine. I mean, they're not going to put something that's... LG's come a long way, I think, in the hardware game.
They have.
It's definitely not glass, you know, but it has that... I love the look of that back. It's not the crystal stuff like the N4 had, but it's still...
What happened to that? That was like the coolest thing was the crystal reflection designs they were doing for like 2 phones, and now it's just gone. They just went away with it.
The best part is how, say it's like a hot day, and then you put the Nexus 4 on your granite countertop and it breaks. I mean, that was totally awesome, right, Kellen? We all love that. So
okay.
I think they just got... they were like, glass is probably not the best thing to make a smartphone out of. But
no, it's not.
I like it.
The G2 feels fine. And so we saw those pictures earlier about how some of the G2 variants have a removable back and the removable battery, but these American ones don't, which is kind of a downer. Right. But
yeah, so no SD card slot, no removable back,
no SD
just in
card,
the Korean version or something.
Yeah, which is an interesting move, but we've seen that stuff before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the G2, it feels good. I really liked it, but you know, it did feel very plasticky. I mean, say like when you compare it to say the HTC One, which is just so metallic and so industrial, the G2 comes off as quite plasticky and Samsung-y and all that stuff. So I mean,
I like that has a term and a meaning behind it. I'm a fan of that.
Samsung-y.
Samsung-y.
It's very Samsung-y. But yeah.
It's very Samsung-y.
It was a nice phone. It's a nice phone. I would definitely recommend that to some people who like the bigger displays. I mean, still 5.2 inch. It was a lot to handle. So I mean, one hand. I wouldn't use it with one hand. You know, usually I'd probably just hold it in my left hand, work it with my right hand. That's how, like the Galaxy Note 2 or something. That's what I would do with it. But
it seems like they've maxed out like all display front. Like I don't know that you could get any more display on the front of a phone. Like there's no
if you took off that big LG logo on the bottom and all that stuff. But
yeah, true.
I mean, but that's only another 0.3 inches. I mean, what's the big deal? And then you have a Note 2, so. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Huh. Yeah, I'll be interested to get my hands on it. I'm not overly excited about the G2, but I definitely want to play with it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we had the Moto X the week before, which said like don't care about specs, and then LG's like, look at all these specs.
Look at all the specs.
Like they brought up Qualcomm on stage and were like, first phone with the 800.
Well, LG and Qualcomm worked closely together to make sure that the G2 performs like a beast, and the phone is a beast. So I mean, and I did those benchmarks. We know benchmarks don't mean anything, but like they were really fast. I've never seen I probably have, like, maybe on the S4, but through all the quadrants and stuff, like, you usually don't see like a pure 60 frame per second experience in those benchmarks.
Right.
This was like over 60 frames. It was hitting like 62, 63, and it was sticking there. It wasn't dropping at all. It was a sweet little experience. I wish I could have like played some games or something like that, but once we get a unit in, we will. But I'm excited for the phone still, minus the little design tweaks that they did. But that was my time with the G2.
So we don't really have release dates or anything, right? We just know it's going everywhere. We just don't know when.
Exactly.
September, maybe. We're not really sure. LG kind of did the thing that we hate. We're like, here, look at our new phone, and we don't know when it's coming, though.
Oh
we
man,
can't tell you about it either, so don't ask.
They rickrolled me, me and my group of friends, we call it Chuck Testa, because you think it's something, but nope, Chuck Testa taxidermy. Anyways, that's a YouTube video. You should check it out.
Fantastic video.
So, thank you, Ron. So we're all hanging out. We're hanging out right enough of the G2, and then we see these people walking away with little bags, and on the bag it said LG G2. And so we're like, oh man, they must be giving out the phone, but they didn't tell anyone. So it was weird. And so I'm walking by, and I see that there's like a box, LG box inside the bag. So I'm like, sweet, like we're getting phones. So I walk up to the counter, and they're like, here, give me your press badge. I said, okay, here's my badge. They click it, and then like, here's your gift for coming. I said, all right. And it turns out it was like this stupid like LG mobile printer that you can hook up to your phone to like, it's like a stupid Polaroid thing.
It was a taxidermy like animal.
Yeah, and it was so lame.
Chuck Testa.
And I mean, with a bag that says LG G2, but it was just the printer, and I was so bummed. So.
First world problems.
First world problems.
They
I
really
got the
are.
stupid printer. But yeah. So yeah.
So that's the G2.
G2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll definitely review it, check it out, put it through paces. I get the feeling that some people are interested in it, and then there's others that are just like, it's another LG device. Even though they put crazy specs and did all the software stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Isn't just like a realization that specs aren't everything?
Yes.
I mean, it has to be like the full package. I mean, you can bring the latest and greatest specs, and no one will still care. No one will care because it's not everything they had hoped or something like that.
Right.
You know, like I don't get it. I don't know what people want anymore. Like I always feel like these companies should hire us and be like, because we know what the people want, and then I realize every day that I have no idea what anyone wants.
No, we know exactly what everybody wants.
I know everyone wanted a Nexus 4 with LTE on Verizon. That's what they wanted.
That's right.
And they didn't get it.
No, but one. If it would have came, they would have found something wrong with it. So
yeah, they would have. The crystal reflection back, probably.
Probably. Oh yeah, it's glass. No, I don't like it anymore.
Yeah. It breaks all the time. I can't stop it.
Constantly.
What do you people want?
Yeah. So Samsung will be back shortly with the Galaxy Note 2 unveiling, which is happening on September 4th in Berlin.
Oh yeah.
Note 3, by the way.
Note 3. Did I say something else?
You said Note 2. That's okay.
Really? Damn. Yeah, Note 3. 3. I can't do that. Note 3 coming announced at least September 4th. So we won't be in Berlin, but we'll be at a press event to get paws all over it. So that's coming, and it's gonna be another Note. I sound like a terrible phone person, but I'm really not excited about the Note 3. I'll let Tim handle the Note 3 Colt just like he did the Note 2 Colt. The phone's just too damn big for me. And what are the rumored specs here, Tim? I think you had those somewhere.
Like the same specs as the G2, but just with a bigger display.
With a bigger display. Oh no, but there was like 3 gig of RAM maybe or something.
Oh yeah, 3 gig of RAM. There's just so much like stuff going on out there, which none of it is confirmed. So it's like, what's the point? But what are they saying? Like a 5.67 or 5.68 inch display, 1080p, Super AMOLED. 3 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon 800. The battery is huge, like 3,450 milliamp. I don't have the list in front of me, but
I'm looking. You got it right. Yeah. Although Sam Mobile or whoever had it said it's an octa-core.
Oh yeah, so that was for the overseas, like the international variant.
Right.
But of course, the American variant will have the Snapdragon 800 depending on the market. Some crazy GPU, 13 megapixel back-facing camera with OIS technology, mumbo jumbo.
OIS.
Yeah, that most markets with 32 gigs. Sorry?
Is Apple sneaking into my Galaxy Note 3 iOS camera technology?
Yeah, good. I don't know. That it'll launch with Android 4.3, which is neat. Although, whatever. 4.3, whoop-de-doo.
So it's another big-ass tablet phone hybrid device.
So most people are pointing that it's going to be exactly like a Note 2, kind of the way it feels, but the display, the bezels will be thinned out, basically. So
like they did with the Galaxy S4, it was the same size,
exactly.
Actually a little smaller than the Galaxy S3, but it was more display. So
exactly. And that would be fantastic for the Note 2. You make it a little bit smaller, but just put a huge display. That's gorgeous.
The happiest group of Android users on the planet are the Note fanatics, because they get good phone after good phone after good phone, and it's exactly what they want, and they just keep making it better.
Yeah, they're spoiled.
It would be so good to be a Note fan.
Yeah. Is this not on your list at all, Eric? Like Note 3, are you not even considering it? Yeah.
The screens, I handled the Note 1 back when that came out.
Yeah, but that thing's ugly.
Yeah, it's too big. I think 4.8 to 5 is probably my sweet spot. 4.7 to 5, I think, is where I want to stay. Like, I got nothing against the Note. I know it's awesome. I just, personal preference for me.
Yeah.
Ron, are you going to upgrade to the Note 3? No.
No.
I think we all know what Ron's buying next. So.
Moto X.
That's right, we do know what Ron's buying next.
Yeah, pretty sure it's an iPhone, but yeah.
What if they make like a Wi-Fi only Note 3, Ron? Would you consider that as a tablet replacement?
That's called the Mega.
They
have like the Mega Wi-Fi or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the Mega.
And the Galaxy players.
Yeah.
Players! The phone, they're just too big. I know there's a group of people, and clearly there's millions of people out there that really like these because they keep selling a bunch of them. For me personally, I don't want a phone that's that big. I can't put it in my pocket. I can't use one hand, and I don't need a pen to use my phone.
Especially if that's like going to be maybe your only or your main computer, for lack of a better word. Like I know, like my brother in particular, like he just wants to have one device that he always has, and so like having a giant phone sounds awesome to him because that's the only thing he's going to have to just watch everything and regular phone stuff and everything else too. So if that's what you want, then that's a really good device for that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good, and they'll hype it up, and it'll be their big holiday device, and it'll be everywhere.
Yeah, totally. So what else is going on?
You tell me.
Yeah, HTC and RDJ. Let's get into that. All right. Sorry.
Tim's done with the Note 3.
Yeah.
Before we get on to HTC.
Yeah, I didn't see your extra bullet there. That's the Samsung smartwatch.
Yeah, so we might get Samsung's official smartwatch on that September 4th unveiling as well. I don't really know if I'm excited for that or not. I guess maybe if Samsung's doing one, they're a big enough company that maybe they won't make one that's completely terrible. I'm not really sure. So I guess I'm interested to see at least what a Samsung watch. What's it rumored to be called? The Samsung Gear or Galaxy Gear?
Galaxy Gear.
Oh,
That's a really stupid name.
That's smart. That's smart.
Such a good
I like
name.
it.
Like Galaxy Gear should be like the name of a group of products, not a watch. Like it should be the Galaxy Gear, and it's like a watch and something else.
Like it kind of makes sense to me. I mean,
it should just be called the Galaxy Watch or something.
I think they should have like a gear, and that's the shape of the watch face.
Well, like why is it not called the S Watch? I mean, they call everything else S something.
You mean the Swatch?
Sure Swatch is
Yeah, the Swatch.
Get sued.
There's a dash in there. Actually, they don't use dashes, just a space. I don't know. I'm excited to see what they can do. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they can do, but we don't know anything about it.
Yeah, no specs, no functionality. I mean, I'm guessing. It'll track your heart rate, check where you're going, blah blah blah. So that'll be cool for like the S health fanatics out there and all that stuff. So
The shelf.
I think
Yeah.
I think it'll be great. I'm like actually excited for a big OEM to make a watch, and no, I don't count the Moto Active as even being in existence. I think it just was disgusting from day one. Sorry. But like, and I thought I wanted one for a while just because, but because like everyone was like, oh, like in a health craze all of a sudden, like, oh, let's go track our. No, like if you have a Nike Fuel Band or Moto Active, it's not going to motivate you to get out and work out, is what I found out. So it turns out that it doesn't matter what shoes you wear, you have to actually want to run in order to.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've got a roommate with about 6 pairs of running shoes that doesn't use any of them.
Yeah,
they're comfortable.
I'm all about the running shoes now. So either way, Galaxy Gear, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what, like you said, a real OEM can do. It's like we've got that one, and then we've got Apple probably making a watch, then we've got Google apparently making a watch. So those three, we could have 3 really cool smartwatches in the near future.
Someone asked about the Sony smartwatch, and nope, that doesn't count either. Sorry.
No, whatever Sony does just doesn't really count.
What's wrong with the Pebble? I like my Pebble.
Are you still using the Pebble? I know it like doesn't have like 75% of the functionality on iOS, but you're still using it?
What? Yeah, I just don't have it tied to my phone because the battery life drains on both ends. So
I was talking to an unnamed friend on my flight from New York to Portland, and we were talking about smartwatches and how the Pebble, and a lot of the smartwatches on the market, for example, like the Meta Watch, they only act as like a very shallow extension of your smartphone. Sure, you can see notifications and all that, but it really lacks a lot of functionality that you would want to be there. So I'm hoping that Samsung kind of brings like an over-the-top smartwatch
TouchWiz watch.
Type of thing, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem though is that any functionality you do, you're not going to have a screen big enough to do anything with it. So
that's not true, because I don't know if you saw the concept render that was based on patents.
Concept render.
Based on patents filed by Samsung. It's got like a wrap display and all that stuff. That'd be
I've seen a lot of BS patents. Like remember the one I think it was by Jeff Bezos with like the little like airbags for when your phone falls.
I'm not saying anything's
That's a good
confirmed.
idea.
I'm not saying anything's confirmed. I'm just saying like it would be cool to see what Samsung can do.
I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. I just don't like. Either you have to, in order to make it like anything worth being able to like type on or anything else like that, which is what you need to do to have any kind of input on there if you're not going to use voice, like it's going to have to be big. I have people complaining to me that they think the Pebble's too big already, which I think is
tiny.
It's tiny.
Yeah, I think it's tiny.
I have a watch that has.
I was like, it's a small watch, and all these people were like, "That's small. What the hell are you talking?"
Yeah, like this is big. That's a big watch. Like this is nothing in comparison. So,
that thing. I have one of those too. It lacks. Yeah. It's not a smartwatch, but I mean, it's big. And
nothing compares to carrying the Moto X brick, or not the Moto X, the Moto Active brick.
Yeah,
that's massive.
And that's the other thing too, is like if you do have a big screen like that, like you're gonna need to have a giant battery in there too, and I don't know how they're gonna pull. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe they have something, that
we will see.
Seen.
Oh, I'm sure when the
flexible AMOLED.
When Apple comes out with a smartwatch, when Apple comes out with a smartwatch, I'm sure it's gonna be the greatest thing ever. So because I'm sure all these people, all the top companies are finally getting around to the idea of a smartwatch, I think, and they probably have like better engineers than Pebble does and MetaWatch has.
No,
so
it's impossible.
It's probably gonna be
No ones were better than MetaWatch.
That was the top.
Let's just say that the Galaxy Gear probably was not crowdsourced or crowdfunded or whatever. So
hopefully not crowdsourced either.
Yeah, so it already
that'll be LG's. LG's will be crowdsourced.
So it's already going to be have a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It doesn't matter either.
Polish.
No, polish. Kind of like verified something. I don't know. I just can't think of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to the idea. I just haven't. Every time I've thought about like what I would do with a smartwatch, at the end of the day, I just end up saying I'd rather pull out my phone and actually get some actual work done.
Well, that's the same way I am. So
yeah.
Yep.
The reason I like my Nike Fuel Band is because, one, it tells me the time very easily. I just hit the button.
And it looks nice.
Time comes up. It looks pretty cool. I like the whole, to me, it kind of looks like a baseball, outfield scoreboard kind of thing with the, with the
LEDs.
band. Anyway, but the main thing I like about it is that I don't have to plug that in for like a week and a half if I don't remember it, and it'll still work. With all these crazy smartwatches, you're going to have to plug it in every night.
Yeah, I don't have this thing connected. I have to plug it in once a week.
because I already plug in
the Pebble has good
things
battery
right before I go to bed, and I don't want to remember to plug in my watch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say, I don't know why I'm talking about fuel band now, but the only thing I'll say is that I hate it that you have to press a button to turn like the clock on.
Well,
like
yeah.
I want
Yeah,
your
I love that I
active
can shake this and it goes.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
shake. Because otherwise, like, if your hands are full and you're like, oh, I need to know what time it is, like, you have to, like, use an elbow or, like, a forearm to, like, press the button down.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree. So, yeah, smartwatches, I think we're going to have some options in the near future that could be pretty cool. So
The evolution is coming.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about HTC and Robert Downey Jr. and what the hell is going on there? Like, it's weird, right?
Okay, what
Kind of.
happened while I was gone that made it weird? Because that first commercial that came out, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, so they released one today that was like, yeah, it was like a 2-minute long commercial, and they're making sure like we don't think this is Tony Stark. They're like, no, it's Robert Downey Jr. as himself, but it's totally like
which is a mistake, by the way.
Yeah, which is because he totally walks in like, oh, I'm the cool executive guy, and I'm just gonna
and he
act
did the
like
peace
Tony
thing,
Stark.
which is like that's Tony Stark.
That's Tony Stark. I never know who he's playing anymore. So
Right.
It's always Tony Stark.
He's Tony Stark. So
He is
2-minute
Iron Man.
video of people ranting or rambling off what HTC could stand for, and then acting them out, and it was kind of odd. It was really odd. But is it gonna work? Is it just like them being desperate? Like, what are? It is that Ron's like, yes, it's them being desperate as hell. After the one apparently is failing for them, they need to do something insane, and that's what they're doing with this new campaign. And what are they spending $1 billion on it? That's like
they said $1 billion, but I have no idea. Like, I'm getting that aluminum catamaran cost them $1 billion or what? 'Cause I don't
On
know.
top of the $12 million that they're paying RDJ.
It must be part of some type of. They're clearly trying to reinvent themselves, but I just feel like it's not. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it, but no.
I think it's kind of a smart idea to launch a campaign where you keep saying your name over and over and over again. Like it'll like I could see if this commercial gets played, to its death, that people are gonna be saying stupid HTC things. When they see HTC, they're gonna ramble off some stupid thing like the whatever catamaran, like or like what was the hipster troll car wash or something like that was one of them.
That was kind of
people will like that stuff.
Cat.
Like people will actually probably remember some of that stuff. I just don't know if that's going to help you sell phones.
The rule of advertising is if you want somebody to remember something in your commercial, you have to say it 3 times, and then that's pretty much the number that makes it stick in somebody's head after.
Yeah.
They're pushing like 50 in that 2 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with this ad, though, I mean, they're not showing a product. It's an ad about them as a company, and I don't know that anybody needs to hear the name HTC over and over again. Like, for example, like LG was pushing the whole like life's good thing for quite a while, and they've backed away from that pretty substantially, at least recently. Because nobody cares what your company name stands for. Like, no, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's an acronym. Nobody remembers what it is, and so like they have like the one in the commercial and everything else like that, but you don't like see it really in any substantial way other than people taking pictures and somebody tapping on it for a little bit. Like, they need to be showing products. That's what people care about. So if you show somebody a product that they care about, then they'll go and get it. Like, seeing Robert Downey Jr. doesn't make me want to go. Like, if seeing Robert Downey Jr. or anything like that made me want to go buy a phone, then everybody would go have allies. Like, that's not how that works, right?
Right.
I have a hard time considering commercials and what people take away from them. Everyone else kind of puts their own spin on what they watch, type of thing. Because I had a friend talk to me about this new Droid commercials, and he's like, "Oh, did you see the commercial for the new Droid?" And I was like, "Oh, well, did you actually know they're trying to? They have 3 new phones, 3 new Droids." He's like, "Oh no, I thought it was just 1." And I was like, "No, they have a Mini, a Max, and the Ultra." And he's like, "Oh, I had no idea because they don't explain anything in the commercials. All they do is
those
like
commercials are terrible. Yeah.
intelligence matters, blah blah blah." I mean, it's like the point is commercials always suck. Like, I feel like there's never the perfect commercial from these companies. So
No.
I would argue though that Samsung's actually are pretty good. Like, they show you some of their gimmicky features, and they're use some comedy, and they try to also put those features in like a real world situation. Like, I feel like their kind of silly commercials that they've been doing actually aren't bad. They get a point across. It's a Galaxy S4. It has this feature. And they use all these different.
Them and
personalized.
Nokia too, I think.
Yeah, except no one's buying their phones.
Nobody's buying their phones, but it has
it's a
good
sweet
ads.
commercial. Yeah, it's a sweet
Yeah,
commercial.
really good,
yeah.
No one's gonna buy it.
No.
So yeah, I don't know why
Not 'cause the
HTC
ad
is trying
sucks,
to
'cause the
go
phone
as
sucks.
wacky.
Yeah,
But Ron, I think you're right. Like, no one is really going to care like who HTC is. Like, we want to know what the product is in the end, right? You're supposed to sell products in commercials, not a company name. I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and you can do the company name thing once you have a really good product that people like. That's when you do the company name thing to like reinvigorate that loyalty to that company.
exactly.
But they don't have that at this point. So like,
Well,
it's like it's kind of
one, but
yeah. Well, and I wonder if like it takes a long time to plan these kind of things. So I wonder if they were planning on the one being a big success, and then this is the kind of the follow up to that. You know, because it takes time to do these kind of things. They would have had no idea what the sales numbers were by the time they were planning this. So
that's true. Yeah, maybe they used LG's marketing research group and realized that no one knows who HTC is, and now they're like, oh shit, no one even knows who we are. We've been trying to sell them phones.
Yeah, they just confused the dots and the circles. They got mixed up. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I think HTC has a bit of the mind share, but it's certainly not Samsung or Motorola level. I mean, you hear those words, you instantly know what they're talking about. But I would say they're easily third above Sony or LG or Huawei.
Well, based on sales worldwide, they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even in like the top whatever.
They're not in the top 5. Yeah, so I mean, so I think like certainly in the States, I think HTC is well known as a phone manufacturer. They've been in the game for a really long time.
Because everyone had an Evo.
Or Incredible. I still see Incredibles.
Every girl you knew had an Evo.
The Rhyme sold like crazy.
Oh man, the Rhyme.
Numbers were through the roof.
Forgot that block.
Yes.
It kept me alive for 3 quarters.
I need that charm to tell me if I have notifications.
It had a charm.
Hanging out the purse.
Yikes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so HTC's, they're desperate, and they're going to do a massive RDJ marketing campaign, and we'll see. That should be interesting. If anything, they're going to do a bunch of silly crap to get people's attention. If that helps them sell phones or not, we will see.
I think HTC has the benefit of the one being very noticeable. Like if you see somebody holding that, you instantly know that it. You probably don't know that it's the one, but you know. And I think that might be what they're going for. Is that HTC phone or something? And I don't know if it's going to work, but you know, when you see the back of an S3 and an S4, you're not going to know which one's which immediately. Right. If you see the back of a 1, somebody holding that up, you're instantly going to know that's that. You know. So
but for Samsung, that's okay because Samsung doesn't need to have that differentiation. They just know that people want to have a giant Samsung phone. Yeah. But for HTC though, like. Seriously, if they would have gone with the "You're the One That I Want" song, like pay the money to get the rights for that. If they would have just done an ad with that, like, and get it on every carrier, like on time. No, thank you, Verizon.
Yeah, that's
like,
the biggest hurdle.
That would have been
get it onto Verizon, and then it'll
get it on every carrier, and have a sweet ad that like has a song that people like that's gonna get stuck in their head and make them remember it. I think when people see the one in person, they're like, oh, I've heard of that. Let me take a look at it. But there's not like any impulse to do anything about it, I don't think. And part of that is like you have the contract problem and everything else like that. But I don't know that, if people are having to make a decision, they might see the one and think that it looks cool. But because the HTC hasn't been a company that people are really loyal to in the past 2 years, they're going to go, you know what, maybe I'll just get a Samsung because lots of my friends have Samsung phones, so I'll just go with that.
Yeah, Samsung's sort of got that going for them now that like it's like how like iPhones were for a long time. It still are. If your friends and family have a similar phone, you're sort of attracted to that. And Samsung's got the same thing going with the Galaxy S4 and S3 and Note 2 and all that stuff. People just have those, and then you have special software that shares between them. And yet HTC doesn't have any of that sort of brand loyalty, just like LG doesn't. Motorola no longer does. Yeah, that's why it's a 2-horse race. Yeah. But yeah, speaking of HTC, the one is still not out on Verizon for those paying attention. It just feels like it's too late at this point.
Yeah, I've got a few friends that are like not into, they keep up with phones because I keep them up with phones, but they're starting, even the people that aren't keeping up with phones like we are starting to get angry that the one is not out on Verizon. My friend texted me the other day. He's like, man, Verizon keeps pushing that back because he's been waiting on it. And that's the point where I knew that it was getting kind of bad.
Well, you were waiting for it, and now you seem like you're more into the Moto X now than even the one.
Yeah. They pushed themselves back into a very difficult spot now between the Moto X, the new Droid line, and the Note 3 coming out. And then the T2, I guess, for whoever's going to buy that. But
Yeah, Verizon went from having 0 new phones this year to now having almost too many. They're going to have the one all of a sudden. They're going to have 3 new Droids, and the Moto X, and the G2, and the Note 3. Yep. And then who knows if there's going to be holiday devices. I'm assuming there will be. They could get this one Max if HTC ever releases that. So, yeah, Verizon's going to... Yeah, they've gone from having nothing to probably too many damn choices.
Which might be their new schedule, because they didn't have it... I mean, they had next to nothing the whole year. So...
Right.
That might just be what Verizon's going to do, especially as more and more manufacturers are moving to just one Halo device a year.
Yeah.
Well, I think they might have been waiting for the Galaxy Nexus crew, the 2-year subscriber, because that's a big amount of people coming out right now. Coming up for. So
I think it's adorable that you think Verizon remembers that the Galaxy Nexus is on their network.
I'm pretty sure they at least thought about it, because that was a huge launch. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big phone for readers of Android sites, I would say.
Yeah.
Droid Life, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those they sold, just because they didn't care 1 second about it and didn't market it at all. But the cool thing is, though, like Eric, all of our readers are like you. They have that phone, and you have a contract coming up. You got some cool options, which is really nice. Why we have all these new phones to look at, so we can hopefully show you everything coming out, and you guys can make decisions, which is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah.
What else? I feel like we have so much more to talk about. Tim, do you want to talk quickly about the Shield? Since you finally posted your review on that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you mean this thing?
Shield sighting. Yeah, that's the first time I've touched it since my review. No, I took it on the flight with me to New York, and it was great. Actually, that's how I met my new friend. I have taught my conversation with. He was like, "Is that the Shield?" And I was like, "How the hell do you know about the Shield?" And so the Shield is cool, albeit no one has it, no one's gonna have it, and stuff like that. I mean, every time we've asked, "Hey, are you getting a Shield? Are you interested in the Shield?" It's always just an overwhelming no. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you. The device itself, if you decide on getting one, is very cool, albeit it's $300 and doesn't really do much, like besides play games and all that. But it's cool. I'd save my money for an Xbox One or PS4 or something, but I mean, being an Android fan and all, it's pretty cool. But really, there's not much to say. Like, it doesn't do much. But yeah.
Well, so one of the coolest features is that you can stream PC games to it, but you have to have like a special graphics card and like.
Exactly. And
I'm sure serious PC gamers have that, but a serious PC gamer, why are they going to want to move from their PC then to a handheld? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
No,
and it's like still in beta.
Serious PC gamers can find a lot better things to spend that $300 on in your computer. Like that $300 can buy some decent hardware to just strengthen your computer rather than get something else where you can play in the...
to buy a controller with it and get a little 720p display.
Well, if you're a PC gamer, aren't you a PC gamer because you like a keyboard and mouse? Like, why do you want to switch to a controller? I don't really understand that.
This has a breakable mouse. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
depending on the game, you might like to have a controller, and if you're doing any kind of emulation for classic games, or if you just bought the PC version of a console game, then you want to use a controller for that. That makes sense.
That's a small niche of people. Like, and I know that's
tiny. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably and that might be what Nvidia is going for. Of course, we will never probably hear sales numbers for the Shield.
They've sold out everywhere, I thought.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's the Google strategy. Oh, let's make 5 of them and then say that it's sold out.
We sent 5 out to 2 different GameStops, and man, we're sold out.
Like, so we're at 100% activation.
Exactly.
So the Shield. If the Shield was like a Nexus device sold through Google Play, so they could sell it for $150, it would have been cool.
Oh,
it would have been worth it, then, because Google could have like matched it up with like all these game promotions and sold it for really cheap because they just like they do with the Nexus, they make all their money off content sales. Then it would have been perfect. But at $300, and it's not like the updates come from Nvidia, and they've said they're going to do regular updates, and I trust that they probably will. But at $300, I don't know. Like, your phone does all that stuff. It just doesn't have a controller. And if you want a controller, go buy a Moga or something.
Yeah, I mean, one of my issues was finding games that are compatible with Shield. That was like my main issue. And in the sense that you have to rely on a developer to want to put in the effort to kind of like add in those controls for Shield and all that stuff. And then you got to rely on Nvidia to make sure that there's have the right APIs, to make sure that developers can do that and all that stuff. Like I talked to them, I sent them a list of specific games that I want Shield compatible with, and they're like, yeah, we'll take this list, and then of course they get back to, we're working on it. I'm like,
trash.
Yeah, I'm like, I want Crazy Taxi on this thing. Why can't I have Crazy Taxi? It would be the perfect game to have on Shield, but no, of course, like Sega doesn't want to work with Nvidia or whatever. I mean, like, let's just get the ball rolling, people.
Okay, so
I don't know.
So explain that a little bit more. Like, NVIDIA didn't build in a way to just map controls for any game? Because don't most of the controllers have a software that you can essentially just map things? Why did they not do that?
I'm guessing that they do. It's just not something that they feel, developers at least feel, is necessary to do on the fly or at time of release. I don't know, maybe because it wasn't, like, released yet or something.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, why can't NVIDIA build software into the Shield that allows you to just map games? Like, why are they relying and putting the work on developers? Why can't they just come up with a solution, is what I'm wondering. It seems like you're never going to win if you rely on developers. Not that I have a thing against developers, but that's work that they don't necessarily want to do.
Yeah, it's just weird because every time I talk to them, they always be like, yeah, we're talking to that development team to get Shield supported. Yeah. That is not a good answer that I, as a future, say, consumer, would want to hear. Like, I don't want to wait for your crap. Like, I'm buying it $300. I want to be able to play games off of Google Play. Like, and they give you think about how many games are on Google Play, like 1 million plus or whatever, and you can only use like 100 plus, like around 140, I think. That they said, okay, they like combed through Google Play to find games that worked on Shield. Like 140, that's it. Like, and most of the games were not very exciting to me, at least. Like, games that you'd really want, like Nova 3, shooter games, just don't work. And that's a problem. Driving games, Need for Speed? Are you kidding me?
Well, I think the Shield is running into the same problem that the Ouya did when they launched. It was like, oh man, Android gaming is like this uncharted territory of just these lined pockets that we should just be out there farming. And, they're like, oh, we can take down the system. We can fight the power and the consoles can... But they don't understand that Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo have the money and the power to go to developers and say, hey, you should develop for us, instead of just expecting developers to come to the console for free,
Yeah.
Like Sony and Microsoft can say, all right, if you come make a game for the Xbox One, this is what you're going to get in return. Nvidia and Ouya can't do that yet because... Who cares about Android? The game's probably going to get pirated anyway. I hate to say that. I really hate to say that, but like, you can't just walk in here without a game plan and just expect it to, take off.
Yeah, I would hope NVIDIA would have some sort of power, though. They've been in gaming for a long time.
They definitely haven't, and they do have partnerships with certain like development companies to make special Shield optimized games, of course. But again, they're not the coolest.
It's work.
Like,
it's work for developers to do, and I think NVIDIA probably does have I'm sure they have APIs for them to work with or whatever to put into the games, but you've got to customize it all for the controls so that it actually works well.
Yeah.
Because none of those games are, like Crazy Taxi, I'm sure, is not designed to work with a controller. So and you'd want to get it just right with, with that specific controller and the way that feels and everything else like that.
Exactly. And then one more quick thing. We don't have to talk about Shield for very long, but say even if the controls do work on Shield, say for example, this game, the console comes with Dead Trigger 2, except a lot of the controls that you're already, say a gamer is programmed with, like X is reload on Xbox on almost every first-person shooter. X is not reload. It's like the right bumper. So the user can't customize the mapping of the controls, which is another huge issue.
Yeah, that is enormous issue.
Yeah, X isn't reload? What is this? Throw it at the wall. I don't care anymore. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that added up to where I didn't know if I wanted to be positive or negative about the Shield. I mean, overall, it's a cool device, but it's not right. It should have done better. It should have been done better. So that's it.
It's kind of sad.
I give the device a 7 out of 10, and I'd say the ecosystem about a 20 out of 1,000,000. If I was on the Verge scale.
I love the ecosystem rating.
So it's the Windows Phone of game consoles.
Yeah, totally.
Huh.
So yeah,
I feel like we could talk about more stuff for hours and hours, but it's 7:12. Been at it for over an hour.
Yeah, are there certain topics really quick that we want to buzz over? I don't think we need to talk about T-Mobile.
No, probably don't. T-Mobile had a good quarter, by the way, but no, we don't really need to talk about.
We don't need to talk about Sony. Do we
Oh
just?
yeah, so Sony, in case anyone's wondering, they're doing a press event on September 4th as well at IFA, same day as the Galaxy Note 3, and yeah, we just don't really care. Sorry. If they release a phone in the U.S. someday, we'll probably care a little bit about Sony.
It'll never
but,
happen.
One day.
Since that doesn't happen, we don't really care. We'll write up the press release and talk about it for 2 seconds, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Sony. Good job, Sony. You guys want to do some apps and games real quick, and then wrap up?
Sure.
All right, so this isn't really an app, but the Android Device Manager. If you guys haven't heard of this thing yet, it's Google's way of remotely Wait, I shouldn't say that. It's Google's way of allowing you to remotely track your device should it be lost or stolen, or you need to factory reset it or something like that. It's free. They installed it on the back end of your device, so it's there. That sounded bad too. They installed it. How should I say that? It was installed probably in a Google Play Services update or something like that, and it's just part of your phone now, part of the Android operating system. And you can go on, I don't even know what the website is. It's like impossible to find, isn't it? Google.com/Android Device Manager. I know that's not right. I don't even know how to get there, to tell you the truth. Anyways, Google Android Device Manager, you'll probably find it, and you can track your phone. It works really well, actually. Factory wipe it, all that good stuff. Ron, what do you got? App or game or something?
Yeah, I was just going to plug UCCW. So it's something that we've highlighted plenty of times before, but I've been playing around some just different customizations. This is like the current widget I have. That's not going to show up very well, but it's like a little flag thing, and then I posted this one on Twitter earlier before. But you can do all sorts of different, like clock widgets and that kind of thing. And especially combining that with different icon packs. So for the giant circle one, I've been using flats for the icons, and it kind of just makes your home screen look a lot more uniform compared to just having a bunch of jumbled different random widgets and icons that, unless you're using an icon pack, look totally random in different sizes and shapes. So
UCCW has come so far. I remember when it was first introduced, and you could follow an XDA, and it was impossible to figure out how to apply skins and all this stuff. Like there was all these packages, you had to put them in correct folders and hope it worked, and it never did. And now you can
like
download.
Modding.
Yeah, and now you can just download skins from the Play Store, and they just work. And yeah, it's like the greatest clock widget ever invented, I think.
Yeah, a lot of
you mentioned
it doesn't.
flats.
Yeah. So it's just an icon theme that you can get for Apex and Nova and probably some others. But I really like it. So it's all circle based, and there's a couple, a bunch of different options for that. But I really like the look of it.
That's flats with a PH, by the way.
Yeah.
Flats.
That's fat.
PH.
All right, Tim, you got a game or something?
Yeah, this game is not new. It's actually called Beach Buggy Blitz. It's been around for a while.
Yeah,
But,
I remember writing it up like months ago.
Yeah, of course. And I thought it was just like one of those stupid toddler games until I played it on NVIDIA's Shield. And then I was like, because
the Shield's terrible. I love playing Beach Buggy.
yeah, because actually, since it's actually that you can control it really well with Shield, just like there are plenty of games that work really good on Shield, and Beach Buggy Blitz is one of them. And it's really fun. I mean, what is there? You just drive down the beach in a little buggy collecting coins. You upgrade your car so you can get further, so time is extended. Blah blah blah. Beach Buggy Blitz. It's on Google Play for free, and it's actually a lot of fun if you have a Shield. I don't think it would be fun on a phone. So, Shield exclusive to my Shield Cult fans. So just me. I'm talking to myself right now.
Shield Colt. I was gonna say I don't.
Shield Colt.
Shield Colt. Yeah.
It's a very.
You started the Note cult, but the Shield cult is not going to happen.
It's a very exclusive cult, Eric.
It is very, very exclusive, I think.
Members only. Yeah. we have jackets.
Oh, those are your guys's?
I only had to make one, so it's not. It was pretty cheap.
Turns out he's been working on Shield for a long time.
Yeah.
30 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, you been messing with anything recently?
I've been way too busy.
You've been way too boring.
And when I've been messing with my phone, it's been just rage. It's Galaxy
Or
Nexus.
Galaxy Nexus.
Gonna turn
I
into.
think we're.
a-
Aren't we sort of waiting for? We're waiting for Dave to release his new little goodie, aren't we?
Oh, little icon pack. Yeah,
Starting
nice.
maybe
Speaking of Dave, I
Friday.
just bought Luster today. So
Yeah, he's working on quality assurance right now. So we're like a day or so away, I'd say.
From Knox.
From Knox.
Yeah, I think he said he's shooting for Friday.
NOS. I've been using it a lot. Well, I mean, it's
haven't
the
too.
only icon pack I've been using,
Yeah.
and I love it.
The
So,
wallpapers are hot.
so
the
hot.
They look really
wallpapers.
good.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
fun.
So look out for Knox. Once it goes live, we'll be writing that
We'll
up for
post it,
sure.
of
But
course.
yeah,
I just bought Luster today, and I was going to compliment him on it. You know, I was hoping that he'd be here, but he's MIA, so he doesn't get the compliment now.
Oh. You can tell him on Twitter.
Yeah.
we'll tell him there. All right, cool. Well, it's good to be back. We will
Backwards, baby.
Fact War shirt in the building. I actually almost
What?
wore mine as well. I'm glad
Really?
I
Oh, that
did.
would have been
Man,
so
that would have been really cute.
Yeah, or maybe it would have been really awesome. I'm not sure.
possible.
So, yeah, I think we'll be back next week, Wednesday, regular time again. I have nothing weird travel-wise on the calendar. Actually, a couple weeks in a row. And then on September 4th, I'll be at Samsung's thing. So, a couple weeks here, we might do 3 shows in a row. Look at us.
Dang. I'll believe it. when I see it.
Yeah, really. All right, cool. Well, thanks, everyone, again for joining us. Episode 32 on the books. We are out of here. Peace.
Adios.
Deuces.
See ya.
Later.